Hey guys. Did I mute my television properly? Yes, it did. Okay. I did not mute my television properly. Thought I did. Did not. Now it's muted properly. Get the chat up so I can see, because I'm not wearing my glasses today. So I might be like this, just so I can read everybody's messages, because I can't see y'all. I'm nearsighted, which means that I can see things up close and not things that are far away, but far away. Hey, twin. I think as I get older, it's just going blind. Like, you eventually stop differentiating as being nearsighted or farsighted. You're just going blind. Yeah, I was just talking about that I'm not wearing my glasses. So, hey, Rhea. I just set up the screen so I can see what you guys are saying on the computer screen, a lot larger than it is on the phone. Because I'm blind. I'm blind. Hey, Natasha. What's going on? I have my, since y'all know what this episode is about, since you know what this episode is about, sex, drugs, and alcohol, I have my alcohol. I actually have a lot of alcohol around me. I just realized that. I have wine, but I have, like, my drink of choice. Now, it's not Ciroc, even though the cup says Ciroc. Y'all know this can't be Ciroc. I just wanted it because it lights up. Does it still light up? Watch, it's not going to light up for you guys just because I said it. There we go. It lights up. And I think it changes, like, it's solid and the blinking. Yeah. That's all I wanted. So I put it in my light up cup. But what it is Henny Pure White. Henny Pure White. And the only reason that I have a cup, and I'll let y'all know, we're going to play a drinking game together. We're all going to play a drinking game. And you can have anything in your cup for this drinking game. Alcohol, water, soda, whatever you feel to have in it. Whatever. But throughout the course of this show, we're all going to play a drinking game together. Because I feel like, even though it is sex, drugs, and alcohol, like, there are so many different things that can, make sex great, but can also not make sex so great. Am I getting drunk in here today, twin? Possibly? Like, no, I won't get drunk. Off of it, sadly, this would not get me drunk, of Henny. And then I just have wine, but yeah, this won't get me drunk. Unless I end up, like, losing the drinking game, but it won't. So, yeah, when I was talking about the topic, because a lot of people thought it was just going to be about, the good stuff, and people only talking about how great it is to have sex when you're drunk or just intoxicated, or have sex when you're high. But it's also for people who don't necessarily have the best experiences with sex, drugs, and alcohol. I feel like for myself, like, if I started with alcohol, I don't make the best decisions. Do not make the best decisions when I'm drinking, at least. We won't even talk about the partners that we have, but I don't make the best decisions. I don't remember half of the best decisions I make on alcohol anyways. So, yeah. Okay. I'm going to wait until, like, everybody has, like, a drink. Or should I just start? Maybe I should just start. I know I'm probably going to end up drinking for half the questions that I ask. So we're just going to play Never Have I Ever. I know most people know what that game is, but just in case there's anybody out there who's not sure, it's saying a statement like, never have I ever been arrested. And then everybody who has been arrested would have to take a drink, because that statement isn't truthful to them. So I figured I would ask questions. You guys can also join in on the questions too, of stuff relating to alcohol and sex, drugs and sex, whatever it is, that we've made some not so great decisions. Okay. Hey, Sultry. Maria said wine coolers and wind. I'm done with you. Wine coolers and a little smoky smoke. That's nice. That combination together. Okay. So the first one. Never have I ever drunk called or drunk texted an ex. Definitely have done that. Woo! And the joke is, I have, well, screw both of you. I'm joking. I'm not joking. Sultry, Twin, Jalethea, screw you all. I have drunk texted, I think I've drunk texted an ex. You know what though? I've actually accidentally butt dialed exes more than I've drunk dialed them. Natasha, we hear, girl, like you feel me. And the joke is, I'm not even drunk texting you to like get with you or have sex. Usually I remembered something when I was drunk of why I should be mad at you. Like, and another thing, you ain't even like, I'm not even it's not for good things. We'll just say that. It's not for the good. Hey, Sylvia. Thank you. Yeah, but yeah, I have drunk texted an ex, but because I'm Caribbean and I have that fire, it's never to meet up. Like, it never is. Never is. I'm like, okay, I hate you. Like, I'm drunk now, but I still don't like you. And I'm remembering things. Like that. That's what I would do. So I guess we can start with alcohol first. It's funny. For me, I feel like I didn't grow up with a lot of alcohol-related sexual encounters. Because usually the places that I would go to, like, have a lot of drinks, like, I didn't go out to bars or, you know, like, after work, happy hour. I would go to fetes. I would be going to parties. And I don't know. I never really thought to hook up with people. I guess because our Caribbean scene was a lot smaller. And so when you go to fetes, you're seeing the same people. And I didn't want that kind of drama. So, yeah, I never had an alcohol-related sexual encounter. So nothing that I, like, got with somebody because I was drinking alcohol or anything like that. Hey, Anwar. And Tasha said, I didn't regret it, though. I was very aware. That's good, though. So you weren't... That's another thing, is, like, the decisions you make when you're tipsy or feeling nice. You know, when you're feeling... How you feeling? I'm feeling nice right now. You know, I'm feeling relaxed. You're still aware of things. You might be a little slower on the uptake. But you're still aware. You can still, you know, stand up, and after a breath or two, you can walk to the bathroom just fine. And then getting to, like, drunk and, like, you know, close to like blacking out, that would be hard. That would, because you know then you're not making proper decisions. And for me, when I've been drunk, my first instinct is to get home. It actually doesn't matter where I am. I'm just like, I'm going home now. Like, that's my first instinct. I don't want to be around people. I just want to be lying in a bed. That's it. Like, so I know I wouldn't make those type of decisions, but I don't judge anybody who does. That's another thing. I don't judge people who do make decisions off of that, because I used to be the type of person who would judge and say, like, a person should know how much liquor they drink, and they should know when to stop. I don't understand how you wouldn't know. Just because for myself and the people around me, they would know, like, okay, I'm now 4 drinks in, and that has me tipsy. I'm good. I'll stop there. But I realized as I got older and life stopped being like black and white, it started getting a little gray. I realized I can't really judge people for stuff that some people really can't control. They're not going to be the same as me. Ooh, excuse me. Sultry said, me neither. Never had sex with alcohol in my system. Oh, that's different though, Sultry. I've never had an alcohol-related sexual encounter, but I've definitely had sex with alcohol in my system. That has definitely happened. Anwar, I thought I was weird because I never had a I'm drunk, you're drunk hookup. Yeah, I've never had that where like, sloppy right now and you look cute, so I'm gonna take you home. Like, that's never happened. But I have gone to the club and come back and my partner's here and then we have sex because I'm feeling a little tipsy and horny. But yeah, a sex, like an alcohol related sexual encounter, and I don't know if everybody else agrees too, I would think of it as, okay, that's like I drank and then searched out for like sex, oral, penetrative, whatever it is. But then jumping on your partner at 2 a.m. when you came home and you feeling nice, that is definitely an encounter that was fueled by alcohol. Definitely. Like, that's, Rhea said, yeah, that's what it is. Twin said, I've had drink sex encounters with strangers, I mean. Okay. Tell us a story, if you don't mind sharing, Twin, but tell us a story of one of those. Julia said, oh yes, good sex. See, that's the thing though. Emma said, oh, the honey, I'm home. Hell yeah. That's what it is. Like, your girl comes back from the club and she's just been winding up her body to like, I mean, I'm going to go back in the day because y'all, we always hear, like, I'm in the club winding up my buddy to Genuine and Next Too Close, and you think I'm not gonna come home with my little tipsy self feeling nice because my dress still fits, and even though my feet are killing me, I walked slow so I look sexy in them heels. You think I'm gonna come home and jump on it? Okay, that's all I'm saying. The alcohol, Julie, that is true. The you gonna get it type sex. But there's such a fine line with alcohol because it has to be at that your right moment. Whether your right moment is tipsy or like, you know, a couple drinks that you're not fully tipsy but you're still aware. It has to be your right moment, because when you go too far past that, you're sloppy. Like, there's a possibility you're gonna throw up on somebody. Hey, Kinky Black Girl Podcast. Yeah, I feel like it really is a fine balance. And then with the men, it's an even more fine balance because alcohol is going to affect stamina. Alcohol is going to affect your longevity in the act. Like, it's, Neonox said, yeah, sloppy drunk, it's just not the look. Like, it for men and women. I'm not even saying just for men, for women as well. Sloppy drunk is just, I'm just trying to get my friend home when she's sloppy drunk. And same for me. If I'm sloppy drunk, just get me. I don't care what I'm telling you. Like, I don't care if I'm telling you, you're holding me back from the love of my fucking life. I don't care. Just get me home, okay? I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Like, my friends, when they're drunk, I'm like, look, bitch, if you don't get in this cab right now, I will cut your legs off and shove you in there. Like, I don't care. When you're drunk, I don't care. Because my one and only concern is your health and safety. Like, that's it. So I don't care what I have to tell you to get to that point. Kinky Black Girl Podcast said, facts, sloppy drunk is a no for me. Motor skills. Thank you. And then, okay, so I know of whiskey dick, but I also have heard that there's Henny dick. So, like, you can't even have too much Henny. Some of y'all. And some of y'all really like to kick it back. Like, you're like, bottles in the club. Yeah. Twin said, I've had a friend who got sloppy drunk, crawling on the floor drunk at every party we went to. Neonox said, but that nice tipsy drunk sex be hitting so good, mouth and legs extra wide. And then to continue Twin's story, she said, and she had to carry her out. I feel like, Nia said, Henny dick got me pregnant. See, that's the thing. Like, I always thought guys that drank Henny, it was like, you know, Clark Kent going into the phone booth, like, da-da-da. Like, that's what I've always had. But I've heard that it can go the other way. Kinky black girl. Yes, Henny dick is rampant in New Jersey, especially in the black community. I agree. I think that because we love a Henny. Julia said, what the hell is Henny dick? So just drinking so much Henny. For me, I knew of it as like drinking so much Henny that like it's like taking Viagra. Like you are fucking forever. But then there's the drinking so much Henny that you can't get it up. Hey, Jason. Jason said, what up, y'all? Anwar said, a drunk girl almost jumped my bones the other day, but her girl stopped her. Rhea said, can definitely go the other way. And then Julitha said, tequila dick got me pregnant. See, it depends. I feel like it depends on the gentleman's drink of choice. Like his drink of sin, that one that you're like, I only pull that out for special occasions because I know I'm about to like lose control. It depends on the dude. So like if the dude is a Henny gentleman, then that's the one that's gonna get you pregnant, like Nia. And then if tequila is his drink of sin, that's the one that's gonna get you pregnant. I mean, for me, it's Johnny Walker. As long as you don't give me no Johnny Walker Red. Red is a disgrace, and I would be highly offended if I was off of Johnny Walker Red. Anything above that, I'm trying to make a baby. I'm trying to make a baby and leave you high and dry. I tell you I'm going out for cigarettes and don't come back. Like I'm literally trying to live a 1950s like black R&B song. Like I'm just saying. Jason said, I'm the complete opposite. I can go for long without alcohol. If I drink too much, my dick turns off. See, so yeah, some people are like, no, it doesn't help at all. I'm better just high on life. Twin said, my ex loved Henny, and he would come to my house and fuck me for hours. See, that's what I was used to. I was used to the guys that are like, I just had some Henny with my boys. I'm coming over. What? Are you still? I'm tired. Like, I've literally gotten tired before somebody else. He had said, we were sober when I got prego. And Juliet said, ooh, moonshine dick. Because there also is moonshine. We don't have it that much here, but I would think moonshine is the equivalent of, like, certain homemade liquors in Trinidad. And we do have babash. And that's like you can clean your entire body in that and all wounds. I can't. I can't. Like, just, if that's what you're drinking, you are drinking like lightning so you can crash like thunder. I'm good. I'll stick to my Henny. Okay. Nia said, I'm looking for that kind of love song relationship too. I'm with you. Kinky Black Girl said, I'm late, but I prefer high sex. Ooh. Girl, we're getting to that. We'll get to I was saving the best for last. Jason said, my drink is Crown Royal Vanilla Double Shot on the rocks. And Rhea said, moonshine is some dangerous shit. Like, y'all don't make me like want to meet anyone who's like, yeah, my drink of choice, like when I'm really getting down, is moonshine. I'd be like, okay, cool. So who has made okay, never have I ever, because we're still playing, never have I ever made a bad decision due to alcohol. A bad decision. I probably have. Like, and I let everybody know it's whatever's in your cup. It doesn't have to be alcohol. I happen to have Henny Pure White, but it can be water. We're just taking sips so we can all individually feel bad about ourselves. But so far, it just feels like it's me. Okay. Twin was like, that sounds good. The vanilla is good. And I feel like, I don't know, just because I usually can't take super sweet stuff. I don't know if you feel the same too, Jason. That's why I would drink it straight, because it has so much sweetness to it. And when I said I don't really drink like that, so I've only had drunk sex a few times. And do you remember it, Anwar? Anwar said, good thing I made a drink for this. See, Nia said, I made several bad decisions being extra tipsy. See, but my thing is, when I was tipsy, and in my 20s, I would have said I made bad decisions because I was tipsy. But now that I'm in my 30s and I can't lie to myself anymore, I'm like, you knew what you was doing. Like, you just needed the alcohol for that little push, but you knew that's what you wanted to do. And Tasha said, I wish I had alcohol. Girl, you can come over. I have wine, too. I have wine on the other side. It's just right there. Jalethea said, after 15 shots, I'm done. Jalethea, that's a lot of shots. I hope you'd be done. That's a lot of shots. I've never done I'm not. Shots just... The whole concept of shots to me is just wrong. Like, you want me to get drunk quicker so that I can make bad decisions? Like, why? Why would you do that? It's mean. Jason said vanilla. It's so smooth. It is smooth. Nia saying, I'm about to make me pour a drink now. Nia, pour a drink. Pour one. Everyone, drink for me, please. Yeah. Jason said, I used to do shots of 151 and wow. 151? Really? See, my shots were always like... And I also feel like, do you guys feel as you got older, your drinks evolved? Like, I remember my first drink of choice was rum and coke because I was like, I don't really know about alcohol, so I'll just get rum and coke. And that's what I would see my uncles ordering. So rum and coke, and so if I did shots, it was shots of rum. And then eventually, like, when I would start to, like, branch out and try other drinks, I would get a whiskey sour. And so even though I did whiskey sour, I would more do shots from, like, what my friends were more comfortable with. So if it was rum, cool. If it was tequila, I prayed to the Lord above. And, like, I think, Jalethea, I think you said it, gin definitely is a sin. Like, anytime somebody suggests gin, I'm like, oh, you did not come to play. Cool. And then, like, as I evolve, there's certain shots I'm just not taking. Like, now that I will mostly drink whiskey, that's the shot that I would take. Just because I'm like, why am I trying to upset my stomach? Why am I trying to be, like, buzzed out of my mind? Why am I trying to stare at people like this and think I'm talking to them? I'm not going to do it to myself anymore. She said, it is a sin when drinking gin. That's what it was. Twin said, I like the flavor vodka. See, and I've never been a vodka drinker. That's one thing. I did not. I think because vodka was always in those, like Mike's Hard Lemonade and stuff, like those carbonated drinks. And I was like, I always feel sick drinking them, and then realize it's, the carbonated part, the pop, and basically your chaser. Your chaser is really what makes you sick. Not saying drinking 15 shots of vodka is not going to make you sick, but if you have a lot of drinks that have chasers, that is usually what gets you that sick feeling. Thank you, Natasha. I saw you said love the lipstick. Rhea said stay away from 151 too. Anwar said, I remember that I had sex. And we'll leave it at that. But that's the thing. I feel like with alcohol, it's very fuzzy. I mean, you don't necessarily know what you did. You don't necessarily know you have no clue. Everything's really fuzzy. You don't even know if something was a dream or it was your actual friends. Like, it's not easy. Jalethea said, I used to go up to 20. And I'm old, so I can only do 7. Jason said, I was in the military, so the drunk white guys would buy you anything. And I'm just scrolling, guys. Whiskey? My no for sure. Yeah, Nia, not... Even when I ask for it, I have guys that look at me funny like, are you sure? Because, of course, a woman cannot be sure what her drink is. But... I see it. I always saw my uncles drinking it and stuff like that. And one of my most significant relationships, he drank it too. And eventually I just got used to the taste of it. Literally just had a Beavis and Butthead moment. I was like, got used to the taste of it. Jason said, vodka leaves me with a headache. Yeah, vodka will make me sick. But I know most people that drink vodka only drink vodka. Like, they don't, you know what I mean? Like, you could get a mixed drink and then just drink, I don't know, rum all night or something like that. But most people I know that love vodka, they stick with just vodka. Julia said, sweet drinks catch up to you. Yeah, it's that sugar. It's the sugar in the drink, usually coming from the chaser. Nia said, and don't definitely do a lot of tequila shots. Learned my lesson in Mexico. Yeah. Tequila, that's another thing. I was so used to, my parents' neighbors are from South America, and they would always usually bring back tequila as a gift to my parents. And like, when you taste good tequila, you realize how bad cheap tequila is. Like, that's another thing about tequila. I realized that in my, I guess, like, formative years of drinking alcohol and having tequila, it was cheap tequila. And I'd be like, ugh, that's disgusting. But yeah, good tequila is really nice. And I also learned that clear liquids are for mixing, brown liquids are for sipping. Now, obviously, you don't have to follow that at all. But when I realized that, I was like, okay, it makes more sense now when you would be younger and try to make a drink with, like, whatever alcohols you had around, and some could be brown liquor, and you're like, this tastes horrible. It just doesn't mask anything. So usually if I'm making drinks for people, I try to make it clear or as close to that color as possible. And then the brown ones I save for sipping and doing never have I ever shots. Jalithia said straight tequila or gin. Yeah, tequila, I could do straight. Gin, I mean, I have, but that taste. For me, gin and tonic works so perfectly. I understand why that is a drink. Twin said I mix with pineapple or cranberry juice, which is good. I mean, especially cranberry juice. Excuse me. But still, it's a lot. Like, they're, depending on the brand and whatever they're using, it's a lot of sugar. When you, even just adding up 2 drinks can be a lot of sugar. Jason said, no, I'm known to have about 2 or 3 drinks, and I get sensual and want to dance, rub, and kiss. So would that be like 2 to 3 drinks would be your tipsy stage? Is that it? Because yeah, when I'm tipsy, I'm like, everything's good. Like, I just living life, you know? Julia said, Mexican tequila have you fucked up for real. It's true. Especially if you decide to eat the caterpillar that was in the tequila bottle that you didn't think had really been soaking in there. You just heard the dare and did it. Yeah, that was a good time in Cancun. Anwar said, after 2, I'm done. And honestly, I don't even think it's a big deal about like what your limit is. I know that I feel like a lot of Caribbean cultures, we have this sort of like, oh, I can drink a lot. So like, even with the men and the women, it's not just the men, but I'm more just like, you don't have to be a drinker. Even if I'm a drinker, you don't have to be a drinker. My parents, my dad stopped drinking, in his like mid-30s. He just decided he didn't want to drink anymore, whereas my mother still drank. So they showed me at least that, yeah, you can still have liquor in your, and I think also knowing that my dad chose that of his own accord, it wasn't because he was an addict. But yeah, we still had liquor in our house for when people would come over to entertain and stuff like that. He just doesn't drink. Anwar said, I started going to the club when Thug Passion was the hot drink, Henny and Alizé. Oh, yeah. The drinks that Black people made with alcohol, they tasted amazing, but, like, they shouldn't have been... Alizé and Henny should not have been mixed together, because Alizé was, like, a French vodka with liqueur. So it was, like, alcohol mixed with alcohol. Sultry said, I drink everything. That's the thing, Sultry. I am, like... I see alcohol the way I see food. Like... I crave certain things, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna eat. If you got food, I'm gonna find something to eat. Like, it's just, but sometimes I do crave certain things. That's all it is for me with alcohol. Whiskey is my craving. That's what, no matter what, I'm going to say yes to whiskey. And anything below that, it's like, I have to think a bit, especially certain rums from certain areas. But yeah, whiskey is at least like my Idris Elba. I'm always gonna say yes. Always. It's like poetry. All you gotta do is say, like, I'm going to say yes. Jason said, I used to drink Incredible Hulks like a fancy bitch. What's an Incredible Hulk? I don't know a lot of like the mixed drinks, which is funny because guys would always be like, oh, do you want a screwdriver? I'm like, why would you have a Phillips screwdriver in the club? That makes absolutely no sense to me. Oh, it's a drink? Can you just give me something regular like a whiskey? Oh, and there's at least one drink I do not like having. The only reason that I would be forced to have it is because obviously people have it at special occasions, and that's champagne. The fizziness, I just always feel like the fizziness, carbonation causes gas, and every time you drink and you burp, that's usually when you feel like you're going to throw up. I don't like that fizziness. I'm like, if I'm going to have something fizzy, I don't even want it to be alcoholic. Give me a Coke Zero. Give me a Coke. Give me a ginger ale on ice, on a hot day, any islands, when you have a cold Coke, Lord. Give me that, but I don't want any champagne. I don't like it. Ooh. Yeah, light and dark in the same night. So she said I have a super duper high tolerance. Yeah, I know my thing is, like, once you know what you know, that just go with that. Like, because I have friends who will be like, you're not going to take any shots? You're a loser. I know. I am. And granted, yes, I'm saying this as I'm older. I'm not saying this as like 16-year-old Andie who would have gone along with anything. But 16-year-old Andie also didn't drink. Being from the Caribbean, we always had alcohol around us growing up as little kids. And I'm sure like most Black Americans too. When they'd have family gatherings, like you saw uncles and aunts drinking and stuff like that. Unless you were in a church family or just any other like a different family situation. But we had around us so much that I never needed to sort of sneak and get it. So as a teenager, when other girls, not in the Caribbean, but at least here in Canada, when other girls would be like, ooh, I'm gonna steal a bottle out of my dad's alcohol cabinet. And I'm like, why would you do that? Who needs to drink? Just wait till your next barbecue. My parents are always trying to get me to like drink. What was it? My dad's and his friend's favorite drink was, I think it was Hennessy. It would be either Hennessy and cranberry or it would be Johnny and cranberry. So I was just like, I was born to drink brown. I don't trust colonizer liquid, Charlie. I do not want to drink that, though. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Rhea said, I can't drink anything straight anymore. All my drinks are mixed now, except wine, which I totally understand. Twin said, Jason, wine does that with me. Makes me feel relaxed and sensuous. I want to come back to that, actually. One glass of wine and I'm good. And although I like vodka, I haven't had it in years. Rhea said, I hate champagne. And Twin said, I love champagne. Rhea said, I love mimosas, though. Rhea, I'm with you on that one. I do love mimosas. But mimosas, I feel like they're not, like, it's not a drink I'm going to have in the club. It's going to be, like, me sitting with my bougie self at, like, the brunch. Like, get a picture of me. Like, it's going to be me being bougie. So, being bougie, drinks are different. But champagne, I don't know. I think because it's just so bubbly. Mimosa, at least you're mixing it with orange juice, or sometimes I like to do it with like guava. If you have some guava soursop juice, it's so good. Sultry said, I refuse to drink Jägermeister. Sultry, I've definitely done Jägermeister, and I've done some Jägermeister bombs, and Jaeger bombs got me through some good ass Pride weekends. Ha! Rhea said Jaeger is the devil. It truly is. It truly is the devil. It is literally the decision to cross over to the other side and give up on Jesus Christ, your savior. It really is. But, you know, some Pride weekends, I would literally go home like, this weekend was sponsored by Jägermeister. Like, just... Sultry said, I didn't taste alcohol for the first time until I was 21. Sultry, I tasted alcohol for the first time at 1 in my bottle. My mother put it in the bottle and I passed out Went straight to sleep that night. She was so happy. And so the next night she tried to do it again. She put the rum in my bottle and I took 2 like, and I was like, oh no, this is what happened to me last night. And I threw it and the bottle cracked and shattered. And she was like, I'll never do that again. Because of course now she's got to clean up a shattered bottle and she got a baby crying who's like, I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry. So yeah, she didn't do that again. She didn't try to trick me. Try to trick me. Sorry. I said I wasn't going to use the phone, and I've been using the phone to read. Sharon said I love sparkling wines. So sparkling wines are nice, but I always just feel that they're like, oh my God, y'all, what's the drink I'm thinking of? Sangria, which I also feel is like more in the realm of like a juice because I'm drinking it with my meal. Sparkling wines I feel like are a little bit juicy. Like that's what it feels like for me. And I said it was crazy. I'm pretty sure it was. Sharon said, I can't drink mimosas anymore because of the orange juice. Yeah. So I've made them with like other stuff. Didn't have to be orange juice. And I said, then it was Henny and Hypnotic. Yes, Ooh, I forgot about Hypnotic. Yo. Henny and Hypnotic. I actually used to soak pineapple in Hypnotic. Ooh. That's the thing. Like when we would go on boat rides, especially. Boat rides are a big deal in the Caribbean and especially here in Toronto. When we would go to a fete that was on a boat, I was soaking fruit. Like that was my thing. And I purposely would tell my friends, like, just leave it to me. Usually it would be like pineapple and watermelon because they take liquid the best. And there was one year I literally did watermelon vodka for the watermelon. Like you were just like, oh, it just tastes like watermelon. And after 4 pieces, you are 2 sheets to the wind. Like it was Hypnotic. Oh, Andienoire. You're not only reminding me how old I am, but the memories don't live like people do. They always remember you. That's what it felt like. Twin said my first drink was Boone's Farm and I was 16 years old. Does everybody remember when their first drink was? Because that's a good question, Twin. When was your first alcoholic drink? Never have I ever had a drink before the age of 5. Because I definitely have. Okay. And I said, yep, Incredible Hulks, when Jason had mentioned it. Natasha said, Tokyo Tea's my new fave. Tokyo Tea's. Is that a sparkling wine? You guys have to tell me about these new drinks. Twin said, guava. I might buy that. Guava is a very sexy juice, you know. Very sexy. No one can really say no to guava because you're just like, ooh, you have guava? Well, all right. Let me have a little bit, you know. Of course I'm going to take some guava. Twin said Jaeger's horrible. I'm telling you. Pride back in the day, especially when Toronto being one of the first cities to like have gay marriages legal, and there were so many Americans coming up and they would get married that weekend. Oh my Lord. My entire Pride weekends were sponsored by Jaeger. Nia said agreed with Sharon. Jaeger's nasty. And I said, give him a little sip. Yeah, that's what they would do. You just give him a little sip. Just put it on your tongue. And I know there's I want to say it's Ghanaian. There's a practice with a certain culture that like you do that in part of the naming ceremony, like put alcohol in their tongue to see if they'll take to it or not. I would have definitely took to it. I'm just telling you, don't be trying to drug me and put me to sleep. It ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna fall asleep when I want to fall asleep. That's basically what I was trying to tell my mother. Twin said, me too with Mad Dog 2020. Needs to know mimosa when you ready to gossip with your girls, but not late enough in the day to be drinking yet. Exactly. Mimosa's like, I'm trying to keep it classy, okay? I may be an alcoholic, but you don't know that yet. That's the level that mimosa's on. That you like, you know, you have a certain air. People are like, should we go to the mall later? Mall? I don't shop there. Meanwhile, you wearing $10 Fashion Nova jeans. But that's not the point, okay? My $10 Fashion Nova jeans still be standing up. Okay. So I know, twin. That's why I like sparkling wine. That the sweetness of it. Nia was like, my badass was drinking at 12. Nia, it's all right. This is a judgment-free zone, okay? Certain people's had certain backgrounds. Certain people's. Like, I know for me with alcohol, even though I know it's part of my culture in a sense that, you know, people drink and have fun and all of that. I also grew up with a relative who was an alcoholic. Still is an alcoholic, but was an alcoholic. And watching that relative at family functions, watching how his antics would upset my mother, my aunts, my grandmother. Excuse me. That made me at least I think that's what caused me to be like, I need to keep a check on my alcohol. Now, don't get me wrong. I have gotten blackout drunk, I think 3 times in my life. One of them, it was a reaction to some medication I was taking that I wasn't told would react to alcohol. But those are like, the other 2 times were just bad decisions. Just me drinking and thinking, oh yeah, I'm great. And then, oh, the room is spinning. But yeah, seeing my uncle and seeing what my family had to go through was really hard. And I find a lot of people, and not saying like, I'm not giving this an excuse as like, oh, most women who strip have daddy issues. Not that, but I know a lot of people who don't drink or who are very rigid with their drinking regimen. It's because they've had an experience, a very negative experience with alcohol. And that's okay. So I can understand you not wanting to drink. I can understand even not wanting to be with somebody who drinks if you feel like that person changes or you've been around people who change when they drink. And so I can understand not wanting to have sex on alcohol while the other person has alcohol, especially for men, because I feel like with the whole issue of consent and, you know, it's such a gray area now. Alcohol just makes that even worse because someone really could say yes and later on be like, I never wanted to get with that person, right? Rhea said, I don't remember when I had my first drink. I was young though, and it was vodka. I snuck it too. Tasha said, 14 years old, Boons. See, twin, y'all with the Boons. I remember Boons being like in the liquor cabinet. But certain labels, like, I don't know if you guys had that too, I guess as a kid, but like rum would have like something tropical on it. And I'd be like, okay, that looks cute. But the whiskey scared the hell out of Boons. I remember the label was just very, I don't know if it was like black and white or black and, you know what I mean? Like it was very stark that I was like, no, I shouldn't have that. That looks like it could clean wounds. No. Twin said Hypnotic was the shit. It really was. And then just that shade of blue was gorgeous. Gorgeous. So I recognize too that most of the great liqueurs that we would drink by themselves, like Hypnotic, you could have ordered at the bar by itself. It did have vodka in it. So even though I don't like drinking vodka by itself, I recognize that when it's mixed with other stuff, when it's masked, then I love it. But yeah. Just because I'm thinking, when I cover up the vodka with so many other things, that's when I start to like it. But yeah. Whew, okay. Jason said they gave me beer around 4 or 5. I know a lot of people that go through that too, especially boys. They'll get the beer. With Caribbean culture, it'd be the same. In Trinidad we have Carib, and yeah, you would get it. You would definitely get a Carib. A boy would definitely get a sip of a Carib. I got a sip of a Carib and was like, beer tastes disgusting. And even now, I'm not a huge fan of beer. I'm just not. I don't like it. Natasha said they're like Long Island's, but with whites. Okay. I'm done. I'm blind, y'all. I'm just gonna, it's just gonna make it easier for all of us. There we go. Dirty ass glasses on. So they're like Long Island's, but with white. Ooh, I like Long Island iced tea though. And it just kills me that there's no tea in it whatsoever. That kills me. Twin said, well, my grandfather did let us take a small sip of his beer at 9. Yeah, I think everybody had that, like, one relative that, because when I really look back, like, that relative would give you the sip and you'd be like, ugh, and they'd be laughing their heads off. Like, it was funny to them. This was funny, to torture a child and give them their first taste of alcohol that they're not really gonna like. And maybe that's why most of us didn't start right away, because I think most teenagers that started to drink, it's not necessarily that you want to drink. It's either you want to fit in with, you know, the group that you're with and they're drinking, or you're rebelling against your parents and so you want to sort of damage their property. They have liquor there and you know that's expensive. I'm gonna drink some of their liquor and see what they can't tell me anything. That was me as a teen. I was a real nerd, guys, so that probably was my face as a teen. Jason said they gave me beer around 4 or 5. Twin was saying at 9. Nia said she was drinking at 12. Sorry guys, I was just rereading it. Anwar said I was probably sipping on something at a cookout by 4. Twin said Long Island iced tea is good when made right. That is true too, because not everybody knows how to. But even with when whiskey sour was my drink of choice, going to different bars and having a whiskey sour was like, oh, you're not an actual bartender. You don't know how to make drinks. And Twin said exactly, my friend when she was drunk. I had to constantly watch her so no one would take advantage of her. And that's the thing. If it's a all the time thing, then I definitely understand being like, look, we need to have a talk with you about you constantly getting to that point, because I feel like if it's happening on a regular basis, something's wrong. Not horribly wrong, but like maybe work has you stressed out, or boyfriend or something like that, but something's not quite right. So yeah, it's frustrating for the other people, because you can't have fun anymore. You can't like free up. You now need to watch this one person and babysit them, and that's not what you came out to do. You didn't come out to babysit. Sultry said beer is gross. I sort of agree with you, Sultry. I used to think all beer was disgusting, and then I started going to Beer Fest, Toronto's Festival of Beer. And yes, it is like it's a bunch of like beer brands from around the world, and you get to sample and taste them. But I love that they also had like a segment for women, because you can actually do on one of the days a tour for just women, and so they would actually explain, and men can be on the tour too, guys, but they just geared it towards women of like, if you're not really a beer drinker, here's like the history of different drinks. So I had certain beers that tasted like fruity and were actually pretty good, and they're not a cider, it literally was beer, that I'm like, okay, maybe if I tried other ones outside of North America, maybe there's some that I would like. So I don't necessarily think it's gross. I'm still not a fan, but I used to feel like you, that beer was gross. Twin said Boone's Farm was clear bottles with farmland on it. Country Quencher was and still is my fave. Rhea said I've never liked beer, and Nia said I'm with Rhea, beer nasty. Twin said the only beers I like is MGD, Heineken, and Corona. I know a lot. Yeah, I've actually met a lot of women who are like, I don't like beer, but I'll drink a Corona, especially if, you know, somebody throws a lemon or a lime in there. I will say this, I've had Guinness as a young child, and even though I know that's a stout, I've had Guinness and carrot juice. I was actually talking about that last night as a kid, and then thought, oh yeah, I like Guinness, and had it on its own and was like, oh no, I don't like beef. I don't like beef. Jason said Corona with lime is good, but beer makes me full and sleepy. I think it's the hops. Like, I was always taught that beer is like the cheap alcohol drink to keep you buzzed. So if you bought, you know, the expensive drinks at the beginning of the night, then beer would be the thing that would keep you still feeling your buzz. Twin said she turned out to be an alcoholic. That's the thing. It's and I know being around an alcoholic, I'm not saying for my relative, but being around other people that I then came to learn were alcoholics. It's not as much as we might think. It's like, why won't you just stop? Like, you're about to lose your job, you're gonna lose your husband, like everything you worked for. I've watched them. It really is an addiction and sickness that they cannot help. When they there's a certain point that an alcoholic gets to, and I mean, at the end of the day, any addict, for them to get better, it starts with them, like any addict. But there's a certain point alcoholics hit, and you're just like, nothing matters but that. Nothing else matters. Nothing even matters. Like, it's just that liquid. It's just that scissor. Nia said, yeah, that one uncle who told you, go on, get you a sip. That's what it is. The one uncle. Because, you just had the table of liquor was right there. And it's funny because for me growing up, I went to a predominantly white high school here, and they always drank. And my black friends and I would be like, well, what do you want to do this weekend? Can we just watch reruns of Passions? Yeah, girl, because I am behind. Like, what's Timmy and Tabitha saying this week? Like, I guess because when it's always around you, there's usually no reason for you to search it out, especially if it's an act of defiance as a teenager. Like, the alcohol was not the thing that was going to get my parents' attention of me having a sip of it, because that one uncle already told me to have a sip of it, like stuff like that. Twin said, yes, Jason, lime always in Corona. Jason said, there's a beer called Purple Haze that has a sweetness to it. Yeah, it may have been that, Jason. I don't remember what it looks like. But yeah, there's a lot of beers that we don't get to try sometimes, and it's only at festivals or, you know what I mean, like something specific, like an industry thing that you would get to try worldwide ones and realize, you know what, they're not all horrible. Not all of them. It's still not going to be my choice. They're not all horrible. Nia said, you're not an actual bartender. You don't know how to make drinks, got me. Like, I've done that many a time. Not even that. We were in Jamaica, and this girl was behind the bar, heavy-handed. Like, one girl asked for Hennessy and cranberry, and she was just like, Hennessy, holding the note. And the girl was like, oh my God, no, pour out some of that. I need cranberry juice. I was like, I'm coming to you because you're going to give me my motherfucking money's worth. I want some Johnny. She was like, Johnny and what? I'm like, Johnny and life. And she just poured, and I had a beautiful drink. Like, she couldn't mix, but that's okay. It's not right, but it's okay. I'm gonna drink it anyway. Like, I love a heavy-handed drink when I've paid a certain amount for a party. Yeah, I want alcohol's worth. I want everything's worth. Are there hors d'oeuvres here? I will eat a pig in a blanket. Don't you play with me. Okay. Like, I want my money's worth. So I want a heavy-handed, but when I ask for a specific drink, like a whiskey sour, or you're asking for rum and coke or whatever, I put a little asterisk here because not in the Caribbean at all am I counting. But yeah, you expect that the person behind the bar making the drink knows how to do that. Because then I could have just poured the drinks myself. Just pass me a bottle and pass me some Coke and I'll make my own damn drink. Nia said, Jason, where they sell Purple Haze? See, and now you're interested to try it. Twin said some ales are good too. Rhea said, I won't even drink Corona. The only beer I'll drink if I have to is Blue Ribbon. I also have had Blue Ribbon, but maybe because is it that, like, Corona's just the most, is it a light beer? Like, what is it? The less hot, like, it has to be something that it's so universal that most people that do not like beer or like can't stand beer will drink Corona. Jason said, I was at the University of Houston at a bar where they sold it at the Purple Haze. Twin said, you drink, she mentioned Blue Ribbon too. And Jason said they sell it at the supermarket. But you're also in Houston, right? So Do you guys have where it's like different areas will have different things in the supermarket? Down south may not have what like the Midwest would have and stuff like that. Like we just started getting Carob. Carob is a Trinidadian beer. We just started getting that up here. And then there's Stag. I've had a Stag before, but really I think I just did it like to seem cool. I'm holding a Stag. I don't like the taste, but I'm gonna swallow it anyway. Like it's one of those things. Okay, now I gotta figure out. Ooh, I know one. Never have I ever done something for a free drink. I actually will not be drinking on this one. I've never done anything for a free drink. Now I need to think about this. Have I ever done anything for a free drink? No. Never done anything for a free drink. Now, someone said, have I ever done anything for free food? I've convinced some grandpas that we were going to go home with them for some free food, okay? I'll sell out my mama for some free food. Alcohol? No. Free drink. Especially as women, having to be so diligent with, like, you know, when you're in the club, you need to make sure this person doesn't spike your drink. I actually didn't really like drinking in the club. Plus, here in Canada, drinks are expensive. They're kind of like, I think DC is expensive as well. I think Miami might be a bit more expensive than us when it comes to drink prices. But so we pre-drink. Plus, in the same way that Americans will tailgate, like West Indians, we have limes. We will lime outside of a bar or club before the party starts with, you know, drinks in our cars and walking back and forth and chatting. So we used to drink before right before the event. And especially with a boat ride, when you're waiting for the boat to, like, start up, you know, people are walking back and forth, cars are playing music, that I would rarely buy drinks in a club, which is weird because I always felt like American Black culture made it seem like that's what what would be done, is buying drinks in a club was the big thing. Jason said, I think we're getting pretty diverse with beer. I think we are. But that comes with the internet. That comes with being able to see other sides of the world that we wouldn't have been able to see before. At least that's what I think. Everyone else, same as me, nope. Rhea said no. Jason said nope, never. Twin said never, and said food is different. Food is very different. Anwar said, does continued gambling count? For a free drink? You continued gambling for a free drink? Is that it? Twin said, I love to eat, total foodie. Natasha also agreed she's never done anything for a free drink. Anwar said we call that pregame. Yeah, a lot of people will say pregame, even before the club, buy a bottle and pass it around, because you know that buying a bottle outside at the liquor store is cheaper than the bottle they're giving you in the club. For what? Some, like, club girls with fireworks? Like, I don't even like sparklers. I hate guys, I'm sorry, but I hate those little sparkly thingies because those things would shoot out and I would feel it. And I'm like, why am I holding something that is attacking me at the same time? No. Just get fireworks. They shoot up in the air and they leave me alone. Like, I don't like sparklers. So I was always like, why would we give X amount of hundreds at the club when we can buy, like, with that same money, we could buy 6 bottles of Hennessy and walk into the club pissing drunk. And we don't have to drink again. By the time I leave the club, I'm actually, like, a lot more sober than I would be if we bought bottles in the club. So I'm just fine with that. Anwar said, yeah, as long as you were gambling, you get a drink. Okay, so technically, I'm going to say yes. Just so that somebody else has to drink, because I'm the only person who's really had to. This game sucks. So yeah, I'm going to say yes, just so you have to drink with me. But yeah, okay, so basically the consensus I feel is that alcohol, it's nice. We all have our preferences of what we love to drink, but to have it affect a sexual encounter, it's like if you tipsy, you just right. Like you could, and it's not that you got drunk and are looking for sex, but sex just happened because, you know, I think it's also because, and we'll get into that also in weed too, you let your inhibitions go, but you also let your insecurities go. You're not focused on, oh, my belly's jiggling, or this is a bad angle for my chin, or a guy thinking about his dick size or something. Like you're just in the moment of knowing I want to sleep with this person and they want to sleep with me. I think that's really why most of us love having influences. Twin said, I told that you would be drunk. Oh no, I'm not even close to drunk. And I said, cool, and made another drink. That's what you gotta do. So on to Mary Jane. I love you, Mary Jane. Like marijuana. I'm just like, of all the things, if I had the choice between like taking something, it's gonna be weed. It's definitely gonna be weed. And any time that I am like, okay, so so for the people who do smoke, my thing is, in the same way that alcohol has like a tipsy and a, you know, you far gone, weed has that too. But I feel like eventually you learn like what works for you, what doesn't work for you. I know if I have like a little roach, like that'll keep me nice. I'll be fine. Have a good night. I could also smoke enough with friends that it's like, okay, I'm couch locked. Like I'm not moving. But I feel like it doesn't, whether I'm couch locked or I'm just a little nice, sex is always going to be good. Like, ooh, the first time I had sex on weed, I'll tell y'all later, but yeah, okay. Anwar said same. Jason said, I've only had sex on weed once. It was okay. I didn't feel anything special. And Twin said, Jason, same here. It honestly depends. My first time smoking weed, I didn't really feel that much. I was also like out with people. It depends on how much I had, my height, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Because then smoking with my partner at the time, who was a heavy weed smoker throughout our relationship, I was done. Like, and the joke was they were the type to be like, we just finished a blunt and we're rolling a next one. And I was like, because they were sitting on either side of me, and I'm just like, in my head, I knew I couldn't deal with it, but I just watched it happen. And then eventually was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And I didn't go to the bathroom. I went to my room and I fell right asleep. I just went straight to bed. And the thing is, that's the one thing I like about weed. I remember all of that. Like, it wasn't somebody telling me, oh, and then you said this and you did that. I remember every part of that night. And every time that, like, I just have weed, I remember every single part. My decisions are my decisions. Like, I've never woken up the next day and been like, I said that to you? Like, it probably was going to be something I would have said even without weed. The most that I would say with weed is that I might forget the timeline. I might forget, did we go to McDonald's before or after we did this? Like, something like that, but that's about it. Rhea said, Jason, either not the right type or you weren't high enough. Yeah, so I think it could have been just not being that high. And with weed, I love that when you get weed from people who smoke it, they will always err on the side of caution for you. Like, they will always downgrade it. So they'll be like, you know, just take 2 puffs. And so for you, you might think, oh, I didn't feel anything off those 2 puffs. But they were doing it because obviously they don't want you tripping out, depending on what it is you're smoking, right? Jason said I was at a swingers event. Rhea said, definitely forget the timeline. Like, I'll be like, Wait, why are my pants... Oh, yeah. I went to the grocery store after I smoked because I got the munchies. Like, it's just... But the irony is that when I smoke weed as well, I'm actually very productive. Like, I can smoke weed and clean my entire house, do laundry, decide I'm going to go exercise, check in on a friend, and then be like, oh my God, it's only like 4 hours have passed and I've gotten a lot done. Like, I will get stuff done. Don't get me wrong. I might still have the munchies and I might still crash out later, but I am so productive when I smoke. It's insane. And I say that because I spent a large part of my life not being a weed smoker. I only started smoking, I want to say when I turned 30, because when I turned 30 is when I moved in here. So I know it was when I was living here. And, you know, you hear so many stereotypes of like, and even just watching the partner that I was with, I was like, you know, they're lazy and he's always forgetting stuff and always choosing it over me. So I had a lot of like, weed must be dependent. Like, you can't give it up in the same way an alcoholic can't give up alcohol. Excuse me. That all you do is smoke and sit on your couch and come up with stupid ideas and eat and then fall asleep. I thought that's all it was, because that's all I would see in media. That's all I would see with my partner's friends. And then when I started smoking and having people around me who were like, oh, but you can try this. Oh, but there's this and stuff like that. I learned, like, yeah, it actually does help for certain things. It does help for aches and pains. It helps for cramps. It helps for various stuff. And when you do learn, like, what works for you, it's, you're able to realize that most of those stereotypes don't apply. Especially even stuff like wake and bake. I used to think, like, how can you wake up in the morning and just instantly go to that? And I was like, no, I get it now. I mean, in Jamaica, not this trip, but like other trips I've taken to Jamaica, we used to do that. We would get up, have like, my friend would have her morning coffee, I would have my morning tea, and just a little smoke, and you're just good. Like, I just find with weed, I can let go of that movie that's always going on in my head of asking a million other questions that just aren't coming out yet. That can get muted a little bit. I can, like, focus on things better. I can not be as quick to get upset or stressed over things. Because, like, for example, if somebody bumped my friend in a club and I'm just like, who bumped you? Like, why are we here? It's a Friday night. Why didn't I just stay fucking home? I hate wearing these heels. They're 2 sizes too small. Like, I didn't want to be here. My ex and his girl, like I'm ready to fight. With weed, I'm like, somebody bumped you. So rude. Why would you do that? And that's it. Like, I'm not trying to fight with anybody. Anwar said it depends on the kind of weed for me. So same thing. Twin said I was 19 and did it a couple times until I had a batch laced with something and was hallucinating. So after that, I never touched it again. And that's the thing. Being with people who will lace it, like Rhea said, they lace it with either wet or angel dust. I knew from the time that, like, I started doing it, and I told my mom, because my mom was a weed smoker. She was like, do not, like, treat weed the same way you would an alcoholic drink. You would not take a drink from a stranger in the club. Do not take weed from strangers. It doesn't matter. So I only smoked with people I knew. It didn't matter if, like, my friends were standing with some guy and were like, oh, come smoke. I'm like, I don't know him, so I'm not doing it. And we actually had a friend, we went to Atlanta, and she smoked with some friends outside, and it was definitely laced with something, because she was out of it. Rhea said, exactly, Anwar. Anwar said, that's not cool, Rhea. Sorry that happened to you. It's just, and that's the thing, because as a kid, in the same way a girl can get a drink that was laced with something, yeah, somebody can give you something and not warn you about it, and you're like, okay, this is weird, because I thought I was fine with weed, but then, and especially in the Black community, where our weed man was like, you know, the dude that shows up late, he wants to sit down, literally, like, he wants to smoke with you. Nigga, I barely had money to buy this. and you are the weed man. You got the weed. Why are you trying to sit down and smoke with me? Negro. And I love that in today's era, especially being in Toronto, in a city that has it legal now, we get to see like the THC content. We get to see if it's sativa or indica or a hybrid. Like we get more information to know exactly how it's going to affect you. A lot better than like whatever your weed guy might bring, because he may not always have your favorite strain, and then you're like, okay, I guess I'll just take whatever, and not know that maybe that one will make you paranoid and tripping balls. Okay. Sharon said, I was seeing crabs on the ceiling and felt like the room was moving. It was so vivid. I still remember every detail. That sounds like angel dust, twin. And I'm sorry that happened to you. Yeah, I'm sorry. It didn't happen to Rhea. It happened to twin. But yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you, that it was laced with something. Because it's hard because, I feel like, okay, with weed, if I'm smoking it, or vaporizer, like I have a little pen sometimes, if I have that, I know exactly how much I need to feel what I want to feel. Now with edibles, that's another thing. I feel like edibles, you really have to trust the person that's giving it to you, or you really have to understand the THC content in it, because an edible is like alcohol. The minute you start to feel it is just the beginning. Like it's going to keep hitting you, and it's going to get stronger from the moment you realize, oh, I'm starting to feel this cookie. That's the same as like when you're drunk on the dance floor and you stop and you're like, oh, the room feels like it's still moving. That's edibles. I always tell people, like, you can't experiment with edibles, and if you do, start as low as possible. If somebody tells you you'll be good with 3 cookies, eat half a cookie and wait 2 hours and then see how it is. Anwar said, I smoked dust on purpose one time. Never again. Thought I could fly and shit. That's the thing. Like, dust will have you thinking you really can do things. That when you watch other people, like when you've watched in movies or watch other people do it, you're like, how could you have thought that you could? No. Dust will have you cray. And like Anwar said, he was lucky to be around people that cared. But if you're around people who are also just as high, or by yourself, I was lucky. I've never had. I just know of people's experiences with it. Rhea said, because your body can't process THC, so it converts it into something else that's actually like 3 times stronger. Thank you for that. I love when you guys share education with me. But yeah, so I always tell people, if you're trying it for the first time, err on the side of caution. Most of my friends actually don't smoke weed, so that was another thing. I always thought it was addictive. And I realized even for myself, I can like smoke every day and then go like 3 weeks without smoking. Can go 2 months without smoking. Like, I've gone on vacations and people are like, are you going to be okay? Because like this country doesn't have weed. I'm like, I'm just fine. Because and it's because I know that when I'm on weed, it's just a slightly heightened version of myself. I'm not any different. So I'm like, it's okay. If I have to be without it, I can be without it. It's not that bad. Whereas I feel like if you were a consistent alcoholic drinker, certain levels, you can't be without it. Like, you literally can't be without it. And that's one thing I do like about weed, is that, if I was going away, no one's thinking like, oh, what's Nicole gonna do? I'm like, I don't even need to drink. Like, I'm high on life. It's just, weed just makes me feel nice. And as we get to the sex part, the orgasms that I had on weed. Like, so my first time that I smoked with my partner, the first time I ever smoked weed was with a bunch of friends at a New Year's Eve party, that I was just like, you know what? New year, new me, let's do it. And so when I told my partner and he got over his initial annoyance that I hadn't done it with him first, we smoked together, and then we had sex, and I was just like, I can feel the colors. That's all. Like, and not even in a paranoid way, because I've been on other like hard drugs that have had me angel dust paranoid. I mean, literally, like, it's like I can see my orgasm and feel it in every part of my body. I was like, why didn't you tell me I would feel this? Because I would have done this sooner. This is amazing. Like, I felt like Ariel and Belle and just every Disney princess rolled into one with like a camera above me as I spun and sang. That's what I felt like. It was amazing. Twin said I was lucky to be in my bedroom in bed. Thank God. Anwar said, I'm a badge carrying stoner, but I'll go without if my only choice is bad weed. All your senses are heightened. They really are. Like, just even feeling things or hearing things. The first couple times that I would smoke certain sativa, like hearing things felt like, have you guys ever been in like a surround sound movie theater or movie room, or even those chairs that have like the sound? It's so close that like you're watching the screen and a car door is being slammed on the screen, but you're just like, oh, why did that sound like it was right here? That's what it's like. You can just, your senses really are heightened. Anwar, that was perfect the way like to say that. Like, I feel like food, you can taste more in a food. You're like, does this have oregano? Who made this mac and cheese? Because every time I'm high is the greatest meal I've ever had. Like, when I'm so high that we're like, you know what's a good decision? 50 nuggets for each of us. Let me get 150 nuggets. And you're eating those nuggets and you're like, yo, I've had nuggets before, but these may be the greatest nuggets ever made in the history of nuggets. Like, it's just, my partner and I, like, for most of our relationship, even when we would be arguing, we were convinced that this one day that we had pizza was the greatest pizza we've ever had in our lives. I'm still convinced it was the greatest pizza I've ever had. Just because we were high. Like, it was just like... And the worst is when you try to go back to the same place because you're like, what was the greatest pizza? Let's go have it now. And you're like, this isn't... Is Alberto working tonight? Because he was working the night that I was high and the pizza was... I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your pizza, but like, Alberto knows what I like. Like, is he working? Because this don't taste the same. It don't. It had like unicorn tears the last time and just like happiness and bliss. This is just pizza. Right? Like, Anwar, you're just like, I know I've been sitting in this room this whole time, but is this a soft white lighting or what did you know what? I actually find like being on weed is like taking care of a baby. You ever watch a baby literally sit there? They would have been in that room for the past 24 hours and then they will literally be like, there was a ceiling here? Shut up! Mama, you look like that. Like, you're just like, baby boy, if you didn't just see me all day in this room, all day, and now you staring at the wall like, this wall was here the whole time. It is fabulous. Like, what is that texture? Like, that's what we are. And 9 times out of 10, it's not even coming out, eh? It's not even coming out of my mouth. It's just you like, because you think that like you're narrating an entire, like, what was it, Wonder Years? You're narrating an entire episode in your head. It may not come out. Everyone said, you hear your own voice and love it, right? You're like, who's talking right now? B, that's me. I sound melodic. Like, oh. I was like, I get it now why those ideas come up, because you just feel heightened on everything. Everything. And then if you're lucky enough to be beside somebody that you're also attracted to, you're like, let's see what happens if we experiment. I do love that too. My inhibitions and my insecurities were to a minimum. And I think it also helped. I will say, I feel like weed helped me with my insecurities in the bedroom, because eventually it was like, well, when I'm high and having sex, I don't care about riding him and feeling my belly jiggle or, you know, making like a queefing noise. I literally just care about getting this nut. Like, that's all I care about. And eventually it just got, especially when I was having sex with the same partner, when we'd be sober, I'd be like, I don't care. Especially because when you're on weed, you're ready to experiment everything. Like, babe, I know I didn't want to try it before, but like, what would happen if you put your dick in my belly button? What would happen? And then we do it and we're like, that was weird. We shouldn't do that again. Yeah, it's not. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Let's see. So, because now I need a never have I ever for us lovers of the Mary Jane. Never have I ever not orgasmed when I smoked and had sex. Just saying. I always orgasm when I smoke. If I have sex and I have smoked, I will always orgasm. Always. Always, 100%, all the time. Baby, I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. Like, every single time. Every single time. You know what? Just for that, I'm taking a sip too. Anwar said, no fair. Vape pen, I'm jealous. You know what I love about it too? This part, yeah. This attaches to a USB to charge it. It's actually really cheap because these, the little things you can get anywhere. But I would get these for my mom because sometimes she was like, I just want like a little thing. The vaporizers, I don't know, for people who don't smoke, the vape, is supposed to be a lot cleaner. You get high quicker, but it just doesn't last as long as I would say, smoking the traditional way or even edibles. And plus there's no scent. So a lot of people love this for home or being around people who don't smoke. I've seen a lot of people using it at work now that we have it legal here. But yeah, it's, I didn't realize how cheap these were. I do have an actual like proper expensive ass vaporizer, which I love because I didn't even know, that's another thing, guys. I didn't know weed could like, you can smoke weed in the same way that people sip wine. So you know how like you'll go for a wine tasting and they'll be like, there's not even just wine tasting, I've gone for whiskey tastings too actually. And people will say, there's hints of like plum and oak and da-da-da. That can actually happen with weed. I thought it was just like white boys would be selling it to me like, there's slight hints of lemon in it that I think you're really gonna love. And I'd be like, okay, can you just like bag it and tag it? I don't care. And then bought that vaporizer, which is called the Da Vinci IQ. I have the Da Vinci IQ and I have the PAX 3. And the PAX is one that you can load herb, so mainly what most of you have probably seen in movies when people are rolling blunts, or the oil, which is what's in this. I feel like it's like a makeup tutorial. What's in this little chamber, you can get the oil, and yeah. But okay, so Rhea, the vaporizer I have, because Rhea said if you infuse it, the smell really comes out. The Da Vinci IQ, the reason I loved it is because it has a flavor chamber, so you can actually put stuff like, I used to put lavender, I would put oh my gosh, I'm losing it, peppermint, I'd put mint in there, I've put lemongrass in there, and just smoking with that extra like little flavor thing, I was like, now I get it, I can taste the hints of lemon. And so the vapor really does like allow you to savor it for the people who eventually I feel like it's more if you're definitely in a place where it's legal. The people who will eventually get to that sort of like connoisseur stage, the same stage as people with liquor that will have, specific whiskeys they love, whether that's Scotch or blended or anything like that. I think it's the same way. But Ria's right. If you infuse it, the smell will really come out. And you don't even have to get like some big time vaporizer, obviously, with a flavor chamber. You can infuse it yourself. It's just, I'm lazy. Like, once I get it, I don't even like rolling. Like, I don't even like rolling. Amber said, listens longingly. Sigh. Yeah. Twin, dick in the back. I'm just saying, when you have weed, you're just like, there's no way that you are coming anywhere close to my hair. And then all of a sudden you're both just laying there like, let's just see what happens though. Let's see if it's going to be like, it's not going to be like, what's that girl's name? Cameron Diaz. It's not going to be like something about Mary. Okay? I'm not going to use it as gel. But what if you could use it as gel? Well, now you've just opened up a whole new door. Like, it's just, you will agree to the, oh, Rhea said, I don't roll unless I have to. I use water pipes. I've been wanting to get a pipe, and I know this is like, I'm such a baby. I just hate anything with a lighter. Like little lighters. Oh, lighters are I do not like lighters. Like even when I first started, my mom would get me like the barbecue lighter because I'm just like, I'm gonna burn myself. So any type of pipe that involved like putting it down in there, and there's a process to it, and eventually when you've used water pipes enough, like I would see guys and girls that were just like so quick, but for me, I was always scared that I was going to burn myself, and that fear would cause me to possibly burn myself. Twin said, nah, I'm good, twin, not my choice. Yeah, it's not everybody's choice, but it was like back when orgasms were few and far between. I definitely love that weed was consistent. Like, I was just like, even if I don't like you, I know I'm gonna come. Like, I'm going to orgasm and it's going to feel amazing. And where it says scared of fire like the hound, I am. That's why I always understood. I always understood him. And he got burn. Like, his fist bun. Like, not, I didn't get that, but I was still like, I don't. Can you light it for me? When I first started, I'd be like, okay, can you light it? Thank you. I was just, oh no, Rhea, like a bong, I know, but even for bong, like you're lighting that lower chamber, and you still have to tilt the lighter downward, which means the flame goes up. So that alone, I'm just like, even though it's such a quick thing, I'd be like, can you light it? I didn't. I want no parts of it. So eventually my mom got me the barbecue lighter. And I was like, same with the mimosas. I was like, oh, would you like your, do you see that flame? Like, I was like, it's so far away from me with the long arm. Like, it's ridiculously long. Really is a barbecue lighter. And I was like, See, but that's my thing, Rhea. My fingers are so big. It was like, I'd be like, and the minute let's be honest, even with children, the minute you're scared of something, you've already psyched yourself up that it's not going to work. So for me, I'm already, even if the flame was not supposed to touch my finger, I'm already convinced that the fact that I'm holding a lighter and it's not staying the way it normally does, I'm going to burn myself. I'm going to do it. Yeah. Can you do it? Like, I'm laughing because I feel like my ex and his friends, like, could not stand when I started smoking. Because I would, like, I wasn't rolling, I wasn't contributing, I wasn't lighting a pipe, I wasn't doing anything. I was just, somebody else do it. I don't know how to do it. He tried to teach me how to roll with oregano. It didn't work. We both got frustrated and realized, for the sake of our relationship, we should probably stop this process. But yeah, I feel like I've had guys that, okay, so women with weed, like, I've slept with women who, like, I've been high, they've been high, and it's been amazing. And I think I love it for that factor, like I said before, was women letting a lot of their inhibitions completely go, or at least be very low on the list. Like, you more care about my lips wrapped around your clit than your thighs are too big, or something like that. But men, and Anwar, you could probably talk to this. Most of the guys that I would be with when they have weed were so quiet. That's the only thing I didn't like. Like, they, not to say they weren't enjoying themselves, they're enjoying themselves as much as they normally would, but they would just be so quiet. And I get that, like, they're probably in their heads living out the entire scenario or whatever, but I was just like, I don't want to hear just myself. Like, I don't want to hear just me moaning. I hear that when I'm masturbating. I don't want to hear that now. I'm in a room with somebody. Like, prove it to me. Prove it. That I'm with someone. That's the only thing. Guys that I've been with, they've just been quiet when they're high. So it almost feels like it's the opposite. Like, weed helps women to, like, let go of inhibitions, and this dude is all in his head, like, oh, my ass don't look fat. I'm pretty sure that's not what they're thinking, but that would be hilarious if he's like, what if she gonna notice I gained 10 pounds? Oh no, she's looking at me. Make your chin look smaller. Like, guys, do you have, I mean, I'm not saying guys don't have inhibitions, but, like, do you have those in the middle of sex the way women would? Like, because in the middle of sex, many a time I've been like, this is the worst angle you could have put me in. I said my right side was my best side. Why are we on my left? Like, I've just had those moments. And where I said that happens a lot. Like, in their heads. And you'll be like, are you okay? Yeah. Are you going to say anything? Yeah. All right. You know what? I'm going to reverse cowgirl it because I don't even want to look at your face right now. Like, just... Okay. It just happens a lot. It's annoying. I said, I'm sorry for laughing, but your face when you said it. No, laugh. Rhea, this is what I'm here for. For us to discuss and laugh, and that's what we're here for. But just, it's quiet, okay? I like quiet for everything else. Like going to bed, quiet. I need quiet to fall asleep. Watching my favorite shows like Game of Thrones, quiet. But sex? Like, I can hear the bed. What? I'm afraid to cough. Like, the cough will just echo off the walls. That's not the experience I wanted. I thought if my inhibitions get dropped, don't your inhibitions get dropped? I feel like I need something to, like, finish off this alcohol. And I can't think of, like, a never have I ever question. Ooh, okay. 20 really is crickets. Well, okay, so Amara said I'm not quiet during sex. But that's the thing. Like, the same guy who would not be quiet if he was sober, like nothing in his system, we smoke, and, like, the level of weed that would get me to being like, oh, I have no inhibitions. Like, I'm on your dick like, what a feeling. Please believe. Like, I have no inhibitions, okay? But the dude, while I'm having this moment, like, while I've suddenly switched to, like, Dirty Dancing, like, when I'm there, he's just, and in his head, he's thinking, like, damn, she look good. Oh, my God, like, she going off. I'm about to come real soon. Nigga, hold it. Nigga, hold it. All of that's happening in his head, but his face You're like, what? Are you in a black and white silent movie? Like, how are we in two different theaters right now? Because I'm definitely in an Avengers movie and you are watching Charlie Chaplin, and I don't know how that happened. Did we buy separate tickets? What is happening? Because you always have a one moment where you do look down because you're like, nigga, you about to see who is fucking you up on this dick. And I don't want to see. You don't even say yeah out loud anymore, nigga. Like, we got you that quiet? We got you all in your head? Come out. Come out, okay? I'm coming out. I'm gonna need you to come out because Anwar said, if anything, I'm moaning more if I'm high. That's good. That's good. Anwar said a whole bunch of them. Shit, this pussy's so good. Y'all will have that whole thought process, and that's what I miss, because at least when I feel like when you guys aren't on something that can impair your judgment, you will make those sounds and they'll be out loud. Like, I will hear the god damn shit. No, weed, the black men that I've had sex with on weed, like they literally lost their voice. They're Ariel on land in The Little Mermaid. Just can I get it? Like, do I have to like flick you or like give you a purple nurple just to hear a noise? What's Meanwhile, and like I said, guys, I literally have had a moment where I just start singing random songs in my head. If you see me start doing that, I'm singing in my head. One guy was like, you seem like you're going to a beat. I am. You just may not want to know what song I'm singing, because I will sing the most randomest S Club. There ain't no party like an S Club. Gonna show you how. Like, I will sing the weirdest songs. I really will. If it's gonna be boring and there's gonna be no noise except for myself. Because I don't know, how do you, like, when you guys... Okay, here's another thing. What would be something else that you would consider that would enhance or inhibit your sexual experience? Because this can, like, technically I feel like Viagra and stuff can go under there too. Oh, Rhea, I took it back to the S Club 7 though. I sure did. Okay? When they came to LA, like, that would be me. And he thinks I'm singing, like, I don't know, Genuine's Pony. No, I'm actually singing S Club 7. Rhea said ecstasy. Okay. I've had cocaine. And that was like, I remember, I don't know, because I feel like when I had cocaine and I had sex, I feel like it was kind of like how Jason described weed. It just felt like regular sex I would love. I mean, we were in like my favorite position and stuff like that. So, you know, certain things that you're already like, well, I'm already going to love that. I'm already going to love riding my partner of the time, because I know that even sober, riding him, like that position, I love anyways. So I wasn't really sure if it affected me sexually. Everything else I know it affected me, but I wasn't sure if it affected me sexually. Bria, you said ecstasy. How? Did it enhance the sexual experience? Did it inhibit it? Was it different for like you and your partner, or were you the only person that took it? But yeah, cause to me, even Viagra, yes, it is a prescribed drug, but so are a lot of the drugs out there that, you know, people are taking. Yeah, Anwar, coke sex, I was just like, it was like sex. But it was, the only thing is for me, I was like, and that's the thing, it wasn't faster. We still had sex for like roughly around the time that we would have it. So, you know, like if you're in the bedroom normally with your partner for 2 hours, we're still there for 2 hours. For me, it was more like I'd been up for like 20 hours and was still okay to have sex. And then afterwards we were like, hey, we should go out for breakfast and go to the mall and do a run. Like, it was just like, that's the part. So it fit in there, and it was still to me the same, the same amount of time, the same feelings, but it was just everything else that I feel affected me. And with that, I don't want to say it was the cocaine, because I don't know if maybe I didn't take enough, or, you know what I mean? Like, it could have been any of those things. But yeah, I felt the way that Jason described smoking weed, that like he had it but didn't really feel like it changed anything. Rhea said, it's a mood reflector. And if I'm being honest, I probably had the most intense rollout of everyone else, because I was looking at my reflection when it kicked in. I love that. I actually love that, because I love that it's you that turned you on. And I agree with that. For me, that was with weed, was getting a glimpse of myself in the mirror and being like, shit, you ride in that thing like yeah, in that thing like that. You were doing that thing. And not only that, but you look like, I'm watching myself and I'm getting turned on because I look so much in bliss, like so much in control and in bliss, and just having the time of my life. Oh, you meant like if it was more excited? No. It wasn't even that. Like, it still felt the same. And who knows, maybe it was. We both were on it. But even with him, I was like, did you feel any different? And he's like, it just felt like we did a lot more stuff in a 24-hour period, but not it didn't feel like it was at a faster pace, really. Yeah, we really did. We went for breakfast. We went to the mall, and then decided we wouldn't take the bus back. We were going to walk, and then decided, no, we should do a light jog. And I was like, I don't jog. What am I doing right now? But my legs are jogging. Like, it was just, why am I up? Rhea said, no, like, I was looking in the mirror when the pill popped, so I saw my eyes dilate. Oh, so you actually saw when it hit you. Okay. And Anwar says, self-love for the win. Honestly, for me, it was like under the influence of that, and then watching myself enjoy it. I was like, Cardi B walking past the mirror. Ooh, damn, I'm fine. Like, it, yeah. And that's rare for a woman, I find. It's rare for us to have, not to say you can't have those moments without, help. But because even sober, you can have those moments. But just that moment of seeing yourself and actually liking it, or hearing yourself, or watching like videos of yourself, that moment when you're like, you pat yourself on the back because you look good. You do. Yes, you do. Like, it's an amazing feeling and I don't even think that's just a girl thing. That's an anybody thing. Rhea said, the sex was amazing though, definitely an enhanced experience, but I did randomly cry in the middle of riding. That's the other thing that I was always afraid of, like other drugs. With liquor, I knew, okay, yeah, depending on like what I'm going through, but I'm probably not going to choose to have sex. With weed, it was like, it didn't happen. I was just genuine pony riding out my orgasm. But I'd heard so many stories from other friends with different types, like E and Molly and stuff like that they were like, the crash of it can happen at any time. You can have where your crash might be in the middle for a little bit, where it's at the end, and you're just like, the day before that you were so happy, you're now bawling your eyes out. So yeah, I would feel like, even as a girl, like if a girl was riding my strap on and she started crying and then was like, I'm okay, and then literally went right back a little while later, I'd be like, you might be a witch. That doesn't mean I'm gonna stop sleeping with you. Just means I'm aware. Stay alert. Stay safe. Like, that's Twin said, see, that's why I'm good on all of that. Nope. Well, they're not all the same. Just like not all liquors are the same. Like, there are people who are like, I don't drink any liquor, and that's great, but how vodka affects you is not going to be the same as how whiskey affects somebody else. So, but yeah, Rhea said that's what I did. Like, and I know people who cry completely sober during sex. I had I can't talk. I had a guy cry during sex. And it was very odd. Not because it was a guy crying, but because it was somebody crying. It was just... And it's really hard to continue doing anything sexual when someone is crying. Very hard. Like, very difficult. He just started crying and was like, this is just, I just love you so much. And are you gonna stop soon? Like, okay. This is awkward. Because I was still horny. So I just masturbated. He wasn't very happy with me. This was back when, like, I had, I think everybody has that, like, I don't give a shit face. It's not even a zero fucks given. It's literally like, I'm a psychopath. I have no emotions whatsoever. Twin said, yeah, wait, what is that, Twin? I had one that had tears come out his eyes, but no bawling. Yeah, like a guy who's like, oh my God, this is so amazing, and has like some tears on the side, that I understand. But bawling your eyes out? Like real, like, that is cause for concern. And the only concern that I'm thinking of is like, what's gonna happen to Angeline? Because she was looking forward to some good sex, and you're bawling right now. See, so yours, Twin, like the tears, that just, like Anwar said, you was really putting it on him. Like, that is ooh, that feel good. Like, because that's the same as like, I know it's not exactly the same, but y'all know. You know those Biore nose strips? Y'all ladies know what I'm talking about, and some men probably do as well. Peeling that thing off will make my eyes water every single time. I know what's about to happen. I know exactly what's about to happen. And yet, that sensation, whatever part of my nose that gets it to water, I feel like that's the same for a guy when he thinks like, oh, I've had my dick sucked before. So I at least know, yeah, this is going to feel amazing regardless. But then you do that extra little thing, and he's just like, what? Is somebody chopping onions? Like, what is that? What is that water? Like, that's what it is. So I get that. That one's different. Like, a little tears coming out, fine. But you're crying? I swear, I can't control what Angeline does. I can't control what Miss Angeline be doing to people. But can we continue? Because it's now affecting both of our lives, right? Like, Anwar said, you interrupting my nut? Get it together. Tighten up. Period. Like, just... Especially in the middle. I'm sorry. Even for... I know this is an unpopular opinion, but even for consent, like, to be in the middle of sex and someone says, I don't want to do this anymore. That is... I'm not saying that it is impossible to stop. It is just very much a jaws of life situation. Like, it's not impossible, but it's going to take me a minute. It's going to take me a minute, okay? It's going to take me to get out of, bitch, you deserve this nut, to not being an almond joy anymore, but being a mounds. Like, that's what it... Give me a minute. I need a minute. We can't just go into bawling and I just feel like... Guess I'm not getting off tonight. Yeah, babe, go ahead and talk. What is it that you're upset about? Like, just... But I'm telling you, that was, yeah. For me to have been like, yeah, I'm listening. I'm just masturbating at the same time. And he wasn't very happy with that. So, yeah. I'm not like that anymore, y'all. I don't think. I'm not. But yeah, the crying, like, so when I say crying, I put it more into like the bawling category. Having a couple tears come out of your eyes. I mean, us as women, I've had that happen. Like when a guy gave you an orgasm that you never even thought, what? You can do that? Like, yeah, I understand a little tears. Anwar said it's like stopping a train. That's really what it is. It's like trying to stop a moving vehicle at a certain speed. Like, it's just, it's going to stop. It's just not going to stop where you think it's going to stop. And I don't mean that to say, like, yeah, a guy or girl has carte blanche to take advantage of you when you repeatedly say no. I'm just saying it's going to take a person a second. Like, I wouldn't be able to go from just being in the heat of the moment to, like, you're literally inside me and giving me the stroke of my life, and then you're like, oh my God, I can't do this. I won't instantly go to, that's okay, don't worry about it, let's talk. Like, what do you need? What is the problem? No, I'm gonna be like, okay. No, it's fine. No, I get it. It's cool. Whatever. I hope my wand is charged. Oh, no, I was just talking to myself. Like, it's just gonna take a minute. But yeah. This has actually been a good talk. It's 10:22, almost 2 hours. And we went over weed, alcohol, and other assortments. It's funny, I don't know anybody who's taken, like, a twin said, be a brat on his ass, twin, right? Like, I thought I was getting pounded. Like, that's what's on my receipt. And I didn't get what I paid for. I just feel like the amount of times men have done that to me. Like, I bought you a drink, so you have to. And I'm like, I have to what? I'll drink that drink in your face. Like, no. But something like that, it's gonna take me a minute. Anwar said, first time I got head from a girl who liked it, I shed a Denzel tear. See, and that's the thing. Yeah, I feel like that probably was me with, like, the first guy I had that really enjoyed it. Like, really enjoyed oral sex. And was like, you're not moving. I have no control over my lower extremities. Oh my God, there's water coming out of my eyes. Like, it was, yeah. I was like, there's not even Shonda Rhimes doesn't have a show on right now. Why am I crying? Like, that's really what it was. So I understand that Denzel's here. That's really, because that's really like that's like a player. Cheers to you. Like, you deserve that. You deserve the tear that I have. You deserve that, sex just ended and you're asking me how you doing and I can't answer. You deserve that right now. That's what you deserve. Twin said, that's what I was doing, Anwar. Like, it's, yeah, that's what it is. And you'll get that Denzel tear. That, I totally understand. I'm here for the Denzel tear. I'm here for that. It's the... The only person I've allowed into my bed to cry like that is a niece or a nephew. Bawling to the point of... If you've gotten to that point... do you mean to call you an Uber or something? Because, like, you should probably go home. Twin said, okay, so connecting to what she said before, this is what I was doing, Anwar. She said, and he had tears after. Like, yeah. Little silent downstream tears, that's fine. Because, as Anwar says, it's like seeing paradise. That's what it is. It's accessing a level in a video game that you didn't even know you could access. Or didn't even think you could get to the secret level. Like, it's just, I didn't think I was going to get to the secret level. I thought I was going from 17 to 18. What is this new world? The clouds look like marshmallows. Like, that's what it is. So of course you're gonna have a little thug tear come down your face. That's just what happens. I understand it. I really do. But it basically means whether you enjoy sex with help. Because to me, I feel like, depending on the person, I'm not talking about anybody who's an addict, but if you like partaking, for example, like myself, if you like having weed with sex, it's the same as somebody taking Viagra. It's something that's going to enhance the experience, and who cares? I feel like weed and sex, alcohol and sex, if it's something that you love, it don't matter. It's just like toys and sex. There's some people who think, why would you buy a toy? Is he not enough? He sure is. He's just even more awesome with a toy. Like, that's just what it is. I will come having sex with this person, but I will also come having sex with this person when they hold my wand against my clit. Like, it's just about going to that extra little level that I would take Yoshi with. I loved a Yoshi. I was talking about this last night. We had a whole conversation about like old school video games. You guys gotta have a night where it's just very simple. It's not like, oh, we're going out to the club or whatever. You're just spending time with a couple of people, eating good food, and just being silly and just not having to think about anything. Like, no responsibilities, no, work or relationships or whatever else that has you stressed out, just having fun. That was the type of night I had last night. And it also involved talking about Super Mario World and Yoshi, who was like my baby. I loved Yoshi. Anwar said, "You are black excellence, Sharon. You got the glow." She said, "Anwar, thank you. It only happened twice, but it was with the same guy." And she said, "You broke him, twin." I probably did break him. And I was about to say I feel bad for that, but I don't, so. I don't feel bad. I really don't. Anwar said, "It's an accessory." I wish I could put it on my resume. There's a lot of skills I wish I could put on my resume. Fatten it up. I'm just saying, it'd be better. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, for contributing, because some people like Twin does not partake in alcohol or weed. I mean, alcohol, I don't mean not at all, but weed definitely for sure not at all. But there are some of us who, like Anwar and Rhea and myself, we do partake in stuff. And even just having somebody, like I've had sex and been high and another person hasn't, even just communicating and understanding between two people, you can both have an amazing sexual experience. And it doesn't have to be caused by the same influences. But yeah, now I wish I was having sex. I wish I was headed to a dick appointment right now, because I'm about to smoke. Like, it's just rude. It's rude. It's rude, and I'm not here for it. I am writing a letter to my MP that I am not having sex after this episode. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and for contributing. And next week's episode, because last time I didn't remember, but next week's episode is sex lingo, and it's going to be the words we use to describe all our nasty little sexy things. Because, I mean, most of us are around the same age, even if you're not. Lingo changes. And it's and being attached to pop culture and stuff like that, like, you know what I mean? When I was younger, you didn't toss salads. You didn't do that. And I knew what tossing salad was. That's not what they use now. What do they use? We're going to go not even just in our own countries, but we're going to go across the world, because I'm going to have a little quizzy quiz for us to guess, like, what some of these phrases actually mean. So next week is going to be sex lingo. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. And I will see you next week. I love y'all.